Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 6 of the anime series, Fuuka, which I gotta say, I was really pleasantly surprised at how much depth and characterization we got in the backstory of Koyuki, of all characters. A character whom I really wouldn't have expected that from. I figured as much as we found out about her, especially, relating to that relationship between she and you, I really figured that was probably all we were going to get. And the focus was mainly going to be on you and Fuuka and their band and everything like that. So I really love that they're paying so much attention to Koyuki in this sense. Tama-chan, I love it. Never even occurred to me that the nicknames between she and you, Tama-chan and Nico, I had no idea that this actually related back to hedgehogs, two of those, band members and everything. I can't remember off the top of my head if they mentioned those names, full form in the show or not. They probably did. And it never even dawned on me that that's probably where they took the names from, this pact in childhood. And that entire sequence, by the way, the entire flashback was reminding me of Boku Dake ga Inaimachi, or Erased, with Kaio and Satoru. Even down to, Koyuki wearing mittens and the way her hair was styled and everything like that. I'm like, just flashbacks of Erased. And I'm like, I hope it really doesn't turn out to be that dark, rape and murder and all this stuff. Not in this show, but I mean, not to say that they weren't getting a little bit adult with the fan service stuff toward the end and everything like that. But I loved flashing back on their childhoods to see just exactly what drew them together and why this is something so cherished in Koyuki's heart. This relationship she founded with you. And again, playing off of what we've already seen in some of the brief flashbacks in previous episodes, she was very sort of domineering. She was authoritative to you, sort of being a thorn in his side, sticking it to him whenever he's being a little wimpy and things of that sort. But she's doing it playfully. She thinks of it as like she's having fun. She's playing with him. She's not doing it to be mean in any, way, shape, or form. She's not bullying him or anything like that. It's kind of the reverse of that old story about, if a boy liked a girl in school, he would, dunk her pigtails in an inkwell or something like that, and that would be how he would show he liked her. He would act like he didn't like her and all this stuff, which unfortunately nowadays is arguably, it's almost an enabler to later abuse and that kinds of, that kind of stuff, depending on who you ask. Such like that. I'm not so well informed that I have really any basis or conclusion on that, but, I digress. So, I mean, the entire relationship between Koyuki and you in their childhoods was really sweet, and it really left me the idea that it was a broken family that really chased Koyuki away, in a sense, from their mutual promise to build snowmen if their town gets to experience snow, which was not something that was happening very frequently. And like he basically remembered to do that. He created these two really adorable, uber kawaii little snowmen, one for each of them and everything. And she had gone off and went by herself to go cry when she realized her mother and father would be splitting up, and this would split up the family. She would have to be moving away to Tokyo or wherever it was with her grandfather. She and her mother would move away. And this comes after just a few sort of fleeting moments where, she's singing in front of you, and you is telling her, this is beautiful. Your voice is beautiful. You should sing. We should create a band. And it's interesting how so many years later he's finally, culminating on that promise and that dream, but without her, and how bittersweet that is. It's not only a bittersweet, unrequited love on her, shoulders, but it's also this idea of this dream unrealized and untapped. And that sort of, the way they left each other in the previous episode where they were both embarrassed and he had just admitted to liking her, I don't exactly know, unless they were reacting to the fact that they really coldly brushed each other off right immediately after that revelation. They thought they were fighting. They thought they were in an argument or something like that. And she wants to make amends with him by giving him a ticket to her upcoming Christmas prom or something like that. A performance she's going to be putting on. And she wants to do it in person because she feels so bad for the way she ran off, and he feels like he chased her off and embarrassed her. And I don't know how they came to that conclusion that they were at odds, unless in the week since the last episode was a week entirely of them not speaking. I don't know. But whatever, the case, basically she does make that overture in the modern sense back with him, trying to like look into his house. She goes over, nobody answers the door. He ends up coming home and he's wearing like a black suit. And I'm wondering, where the hell has he been? Did he go to church? Is he wearing his Sunday best? Was he working? What exactly was he wearing that outfit for? Coming home from a funeral or something? I don't know. But I just thought it was really sweet and sort of, again, Koiwai, very cute, that relationship between them. And it really, if I had any sort of shipping sensibilities, I'm not somebody who ships characters, but with this particular show, I've been really curious to see where my allegiances would lie. As far as, do I want to see him, should he hook up with Fuuka? Should he hook up with Koyuki? We had Sarah debuted, and she seemed to be into him and everything like that. A little bit harem-esque, all that kind of stuff. And this episode would lead me really to lean toward Koyuki. It seems like something that was destined to be since they were children, for them to be together in some way, shape, or form. But I feel like with Fuuka being who she is, she's really going to take a lot of that attention away from Koyuki on the part of Yu. I think he's really going to become smitten with Fuuka because of her vibrance, her personality. I mean, she's coming home. She sees a girl get splashed on the side of the road, not knowing it's, Koyuki by any stretch of the imagination. In that moment, she turns around. She's very surprised that it's her, and she insists on dragging her back to her place, back to her digs, to get her cleaned up and have her clothes washed and everything like that. And of course, the nudity ensues, like insanely. The girls are bathing together. You have Fuuka giving her a back rub and everything like that. And it's like, wow, for somebody who's looking up to this girl as like an idol, an idolater to this girl's whole singing career and everything like that, she just won the jackpot. She won the lottery. Hands on, your favorite idol, completely stark naked and all this stuff. And they're bathing together. And I mean, there was fog all over the place to censor everything. It does lead me, out of just curiosity, how much of this stuff had to be censored because it was just blatant. You could just see completely nude characters. I don't know. Entirely unnecessary was all of it. It was a really meaningful, heartfelt episode. And then when it got to that point, it was like, what are you doing? Facepalm? Like, what the hell? Why are they so naked? Why are they bathing together? Why are they rubbing up on each other? They're in the sauna afterward, and they both agree they're going to say like a prayer to, they're going to go to some godly shrine or something like that and say a prayer. Fuuka's going to say a prayer for Koyuki to chase down the one she loves and find him, and that's going to work out blissfully in the future, not even beginning to be aware of the fact that they're talking about you mutually. And that, again, stands to that idea of the love triangle or quadrangle with Sarah now, as I touched upon in my last episode discussion video. If Fuuka might start having any sort of inklings or interests in you, well, of course, this is all going to go to pot somehow, and I can't wait for that explosion. And the fact that she's going to be rooting for Koyuki now is just, it's insane. And the fact that they were naked together for half the episode, practically, felt like half the episode. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, they're attractive characters and everything like that, but I mean, you had a really heartfelt, sweet story going on, and then it was like just fan service. This isn't Keijo or something like that, or an equivalent. Like it was really just not necessary at all. But yeah, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to me. After all of this heartfelt drama, this backstory for Koyuki, for Tama-chan, again, loving where those nicknames came from, how that is so poignant. The idea that this band of old hedgehogs and how those members are actually integral pieces into getting this band with Fuuka and Yu and all of those characters together, it all comes full circle. And I have to wonder how it's going to splinter forth, in which direction it's all going to go. And whether there is going to be any sort of romantic ties between you and any of these three girls. But, Sarah's kind of on the back burner, even though she's cool, she's awesome. Any guy would be happy with her. It's like coming down to Fuuka and Koyuki. And I feel like Koyuki, for me, is really the one that I like the most. It helps, I might add, that her voice actress, her Seiyu, is the same actress who voiced from Snow White with the red hair, the titular Shirayuki or Snow White character. You know, like, I just love her voice. It's just beautiful, whether she's singing, whether she's speaking, especially when she's speaking. That very sort of breathless way she has, especially in her unrequited love of you and her embarrassment around him. I just love her voice. And so it really just leaves me kind of between a rock and a hard place as a fan of these characters to really put together where I think it's going to go and who I'd rather see you end up with. And I mean, you know, it seems more likely that there's going to be something burgeoning between he and Fuuka. You know, even though maybe that's not the most intuitive romance, I guess you could say, for this particular show, but it's definitely the one that I think they're angling toward, even though you have a character like Koyuki in the mix. It's like if anything ever happened to Fuuka, you know, you would probably fall back on his childhood chum and potential crush and everything like that. And I wouldn't feel as bad for him, but I mean, you know, it's just going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And so yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 6 of Fuuka, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you loved all the depth and the characterization, as I say, of Koyuki, getting to know her, getting to know what how the relationship blossomed in the pasts of she and you and everything like that. And if you're rooting for she and you to be the ones that ultimately hook up or not, do you think he's more destined to be with Fuuka, Sarah, a character we haven't even met yet? Should he get with the one gay guy whose name escapes me off the top of my head? I think of Mikasa. You know, anything goes in the comments below. Love it or hate it, just love having that conversation. And so yeah, otherwise that'd be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.